This video is in the car with Georgjis Ivanovs. I have many chats in the car with YouTubers. I've had many of them, and many of my friends and my colleagues from the armed forces. I try to break down a little bit more personal. He was the hardest one to crack, but I got him. He's not really a personal person, at least not with me. But with Georgjis, that you get a bit of that in this video. And I don't think I'm overstepping my bounds. I've been in his home twice in Denmark. And the one lasting impression I have about him on a personal level, because we're not just on YouTube, he has a very loving marriage. He has a devoted wife that he is devoted to. She is from Kyiv region in Ukraine. And I asked him in the video, if you weren't married to a Ukrainian woman, because I know how much they love each other, would you do as much as you do? And he answers that in the video. I really hope you enjoy this. Georgjis is a friend.
And we love him, yeah.
I love you. Я люблю тебе.
Слава Україні.
Це від щирого серця, чесно.
Дякую.
Thank you, Brendan.
You're welcome, brother.
Нам допомагає, щоб нас поменше замічати.
Big thanks to Brendan and his friends who supports all the time.
Дякував другою своєму.
The anesthesiologist, how many surgeon?
About 15 maybe.
Так. Я не люблю.
Я wiem.
Luxury hotel.
Thanks for your support, guys.
Say thank you, you motherfuckers.
Thank you, Olds.
Yeah, to the Amerikanske babushki.
Thanks a lot, guys, for your support.
It's our first delivery. Last delivery of the day. My favorite person. One of my favorite people.
Turn this shit off.
Thank you, Brandon. From Dopomoga.
Yeah, thank you, bro. So this is the big one, 5 kilowatt. They need it in a hurry because they're using it for electronic warfare intelligence. And maybe you will send me video of your cool shit.
Make video.
Yeah, make video. Not OnlyFans, but make one for my YouTube.
Maybe OnlyFans, maybe YouTube video.
No. Smile, Dale. Probably the most trustworthy Swede in Ukraine, except for Tilda, of course. So we've got 6.2 kilowatts, we've got 6.1 kilowatts, and we've got the 3 kilowatt base with the 2 kilowatt extension. 3 of those have got to go out to Zaporizhzhia.
Дякую за підтримку від 28-ї бригади.
Слава Україні!
Героям слава!
Дякую Брендону за допомогу. Слава Україні!
Будь ласка.
6. Самохідна артилерійська батарея. Висловлюємо щиру подяку Брендону за надання необхідного обладнання для виконання бойових завдань по захисту незалежності та суверенітету України, нашої держави. Слава Україні!
Героям слава!
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. So we've got all the celebrities and soldiers in the car collection here. Now we have Georgjis.
That you do.
How are you, my friend?
He paid for it.
Yeah, no, I bought you food. I did not give you any candy to get in my van.
He said he had a sweet lollipop, but I cannot refuse. Still waiting for that.
That comes later. Yeah, so I knew about a week or two ago that you were going to be here. And not talking about your efforts, but you told me about some of your efforts here, and you're starting to break a bit of ground.
Hopefully, we'll see. Like, we already can break something public. Like, we're working on building. I cannot be precisely sure whether it's the new electric facility, like the electric station, or at least new electrical chain in the western Ukraine. So that is a project that we can already talk about. That we're working on with the channel essentially. So if you feel like being interested in working and setting up the electricity in Ukraine, you're welcome to reach out to Brandon.
This is not going to probably come out for like a month.
Okay.
Because I've got my other drone videos and stuff, so you can just bear in mind maybe some of your travel destinations while you're here. You told me you were going to other places.
Yeah, cannot disclose.
Fair enough, fair enough, fair enough. One is interesting, one is not so interesting. But yeah, no. When's the last time we seen each other? I was at your house.
It's when you visited for a house, for a short visit.
Was it 22 or no 23 or 24?
23, I think.
I had that L200. The cylinder blew up. I was on my way to Ukraine. It died in Germany, and I was in Germany for 2 weeks.
Yeah, I think so.
And I had the Surströmming in the back of the car.
Yes, the Surströmming. Yes. That's when you were saying like, oh, you need to do this, and I said like, fuck off.
Yeah. Did I bring one in the house? Did I give you one?
Thankfully not.
No, but what happened with all that Surströmming? Because it was the heat in Germany. Now imagine the back of a cab of an L200 with all the windows rolled up, and Germany was having like a 35-degree heat wave. So imagine how hot it was inside the car.
Jesus
and the
Christ.
Surströmming cans expanded. Yeah. And by the time I got it here, like it had boiled and fermented even more. I'm quite proud of that, because Ali, basically, so I don't, you've always helped me, but I don't ask anybody with bigger platforms for help, like on a regular basis, just if I think it's worth it, if I think it's valid, like maybe I've asked you a few times, but I came up with the idea to guilt everybody. Because I had Starsky, I had Mercado here. Johnny hadn't gone away for his winter to get away from the cold yet, because that's what he does. He just lives right there, Johnny FD, like right there.
Wait, Johnny FD.
Johnny FD lives right there. Like,
okay.
I can show you his house.
Yeah.
But he's not here because it's too cold for him yet.
Yeah.
But I had everybody, all the YouTubers, Ray as well, and everybody had to eat Surströmming. And we did that, me and Ali, because she asked people on Discord to bully them on their chats. And then they, because Arthur doesn't answer me sometimes, he'll kind of I'll get to you when I get to you. But
he's a busy man for the family.
I would use another word. But basically we bullied him, and he's like, wow, if I don't do this, I'm going to lose a lot of street cred in the Ukraine community. Yeah, and I thought the Estonians would have been pussies. Mercado was a pussy. Johnny was a pussy. The Estonians were men. They drank that Surströmming juice but you missed out on that.
Yes, thank fucking God.
Yeah, I was really, and I didn't want that to be a fundraiser at all. And I asked everybody, don't make it in, but just like a bit of fan service, because
He will link it in the video description, by the way.
But there's a lot of goodwill. I know some people from your channel, and I'll pop in on live streams just to troll every now and then. Like troll you or troll Starsky on his new hairdo.
I love his new hairdo.
Yeah.
So much better than the old one.
But you're doing me a favor here, because you're half famous, and this video will get 15,000 views just because you're here. But no, it will. You're not bad looking in real life. There's a lot of goodwill and a lot of people. They genuinely care about you. I know you're kind of in touch with your community, but it's harder because it's a bigger community.
I'm just lucky. The community is just much better than I am. I think, I feel that I never, how to say, quote unquote, earned a lot of the trust from the people. I think people have more trust in me than I have. I feel that it's but I'm trying to do what I can. So. And it's nice to know that they are appreciating it, and I'm trying to be responsive to what they have. So I'm really thankful for my community. It doesn't mean that if you're going to ask stupid questions, I'm not going to mock you for that. Just to be clear.
Yeah, God, I never do that. I just I look how many times they've commented in the past, and if it's only one comment or two comments, and they're Russian or they're trolling me or one of my friends, I'm just hide viewer. They can talk to themselves. Hide from comment section. They can talk to themselves. But you just said something there, and I want to ask you about this. I really struggle with this. You said, you know, you don't want to be a YouTuber. Like, when the purpose is done someday, how do you feel about that? Like you said, your community has more faith in you than you. Do you ever, someday you don't want to make a video and you're like, oh, who wants to watch this crap? But you pull it out of your soul and you do your job?
Yeah, for sure.
Tell me about
because
that.
like I don't feel like that I want to be a professional YouTuber, right?
Yes.
I don't feel like not that I don't want to make content, especially for Ukraine. It's just I feel very reliant on the cause. Like I really am passionate for the cause. This is like truly am like people that know me that know that this really matters for me and Ukraine matters and so on. And I want, but there are other topics like you for security that I can make YouTube and so on. But that's not something that I will probably be really, you know, happy to do if I had a choice or something. It's like I was just lucky that people started watching this, and I can see that I can do this and support the community. Some people listen, like, and the best thing that really helps me going is like when people says like, thank you so much for what you're doing, because it helps us going forward, like continue supporting Ukraine. You're giving a new perspective, and in that is what I'm doing, because this is one of the darkest times in the world's history for us, at least modern one, like our current generation. We're not talking about the past or whatever, but this is a very dark moment, and a lot of people really need to get through this. And if I can help with that, and if I can, and like saying that we can do it, let's get it through. But if I had a choice, like would you want to do this as a career? Like, do you want to put all of the eggs into YouTube basket, do the advertisement game, do the like constant updates, do the shilling promotion of shady advertisement deals, you know, the proper professional YouTuber work and so on? That's just not for me.
No, not at all. Like I thought, I realized, and I don't have a very good YouTube channel, like in terms of objectivity of, but there's a lot of heart and soul, and there's a lot of good community there, but it's hard work. Like I have to psych myself up to do it. Not that it's not genuine, but I have to put on, like I have to drink a cup of coffee and get myself in a happy mood just to even try to cobble something together. And but people support me, like people really like, I'm not only talking about the monetary, but they're like, you know, you have to do this, and you say that you wouldn't, but there's a heart and soul in your community. There's another YouTuber in Denmark, Anders Puck Nielsen. I've met him before.
Yes.
Great guy, but it doesn't. He's a great guy. This is not a bad comment, but his channel does not have that heart and soul, because it's about his specific career and his expertise. He could move on. He could move on from Ukraine to Korea to Japan to as seamlessly, but that wouldn't be you. That, you know what I mean? Like, so that's where the heart and soul comes from. Can I ask you, because I've met your wife a few times and she's a very sweet woman, and if you don't mind me saying, you do have a genuine love. I think there's a bit of a nerd factor between you two, which is pretty cute. Yes. I'd love to have that someday. Maybe not on a nerd level.
I told people that like I'm a nerd and like and so on. People believe me, but some people say it's like, nah, it's like it's okay. Like you're hanging out with like Starsky and other YouTubers. Like, no, you have no fucking clue.
No, Starsky's not a nerd. He's more a geek. He's a geek. Yeah. But is your wife a big factor in you doing YouTube? Her being Ukrainian, like, would you have gone into this to the level if you didn't have a Ukraine? You would have done it anyway.
Yeah, absolutely.
Really?
Absolutely. No questions asked. Like, no chance. I still have a lot of friends beyond my wife, don't get me wrong. Obviously, like having like now family that was under occupation was a strong motivator.
Yes.
Like on my wife's side, obviously, family and so on. And I do love my wife. But I also had friends here that also like in Bucha, and generally I go through intensively through and I always had love for Ukraine, and I go intensively through the stories that usually, you know, like no one can cover, because they get like, I don't know, like 100 views or 200 views, like all of these stories about kids being tortured and raped and so on, electrocution of the minors, like how people that are elderly being abused by the Russians, you know, all of these dark stories that are not YouTube favorable, or they're not getting in the algorithm, or media just don't want to cover and so on. And I do this because I want to study and I know like Russians and so on. So for me, it would be no-brainer to cover or do whatever I can for Ukraine anyway. Like again, like YouTube is just what kind of clicked with people around me, and I'm able to do more than I would be able to do just myself to pay for my salary.
You're damn right. Does this ever happen in Denmark or anywhere you go where you get recognized on the street now?
Yeah, mostly like for some reason Germany.
In Germany?
I've been to Germany, like it's been, and almost every time I've been there have been like one or two people that recognize me. Yeah.
What's your top 5 demograph, like when you look on your YouTube studio? What countries?
I think it's pretty well covered. Obviously, based on their perspective population. Like so, for example, US, just because it's a more total population more. But I think if you would say like, okay, but what about US versus Europe? Well, then we're talking about maybe 45 to 45, and then there's the 10%, which is the rest of the world, something like this.
Yeah, I've got 25% America, 15% British, 12% Canada, 10% Sweden, and then Germany is the next. Germans are they're like the silent one. There's a lot of Germans.
I think a lot of people in Germany care. Like I think it's just there's a lot of the cultural factors with regards to anything Germany and war related, and how relationships of Germans with the war.
Yes.
I don't want to comment on this because I don't fully understand the topic, but I do feel that there is a more complex, you know, like whenever you talk with anyone from Germany, I feel like that there is like layers of complexity, and I didn't have the time, or like a very close friend that I could just kind of sit down and like just go over like what is it, like why you feel like this and not like that. So but it's very noticeable that a lot of them care, and a lot of them want to do more for one reason or another.
Yes, I feel that, and I would be bold enough to say, because I know enough Germans, the East-West thing is still a very real thing. It's a very real thing in their society, and I know a lot of Germans who support us. They feel very conscientious, like for lack of a better word, they feel a paternal sense of care for Europe, and that Germany should be a force of strength, should be a force of goodness. And a lot of them, I think with Scholz, for example, they felt very disappointed that Germany didn't take a more forceful role of leadership, how they do economically in the EU. Why not for the force of what we're doing? And a lot of people were very critical, whereas Germans definitely politically they're more into realpolitik than maybe say France or Britain. But I feel, to sum it up, I feel Germany's at a point where they're kind of questioning themselves where they want to go for their future.
I think
they're our biggest power. They're a sleeping power, but they're the biggest.
I think we're generally in the time where it's like I mean, Scholz did one thing. He announced that there is Zeitwende, the change of times, the change of world, and I think that is true. But it's not just for Germany. I think this is potential. The whole world is rearranging itself right now, and I think this is going to be a challenge for Germany, France, the whole Europe.
Yes.
How we're gonna look forward? How we're gonna do? What kind of values we're gonna have? And our values will mean anything? Because if Ukraine and how we have been reacting to Russian invasion into Ukraine has shown, is that a lot of our proclaimed values were a little bit of a dog shit, and it just was a bland proclamation. And now we're kind of like slowly but surely like thinking about it and reflecting on that as a unconscious society, so to say.
Getting tired of speeches and wanting more action.
Sort of like we pronounce a lot of words, but like we are very slow and very centered around this previous image of the world.
Yes.
That we would like to preserve, and ignoring the problems that are being thrown at it rather than tackling them. And I think it kind of like reached the boiling point where we just cannot ignore the problems anymore.
No, we can't. I've lived a long time in Sweden. Now I'm back here in Ukraine, and I plan on staying. And I've had some involvement with the Swedish defense industry and a little bit with government. And it really amazes me what they do. But they acknowledge that they can do it and they can do more. And Denmark has also been, shame there's only 5 million Danish. We need more, like Estonians, like, come on, can you make more babies? We need more, like, I'll come and help if you, I'm sure your wife would understand, it's for Ukraine.
We had an advertisement platform in Denmark that says, do it for Denmark, where it was like, where it was like the advertisements were like granny just essentially puncturing the condoms and like giving it to their grandchildren.
Do it
Just
for
like,
Denmark,
do it for
guys.
Denmark.
But I've seen this, and I've seen recently, you know, someone who's very dear and close to me, with the Repower project. I've talked to you about Repower before. 1 month they go to Denmark, 1 month they go to Sweden, rehabilitation program primarily for medics. And those politicians, I'm very passionate about Repower. I pushed for Quartermaster for Ukraine to work with them because I believed, A, friends of mine have been on it, friends who have died have been on that program. But at the last Repower, the Swedish finance minister, the Swedish foreign minister, the Swedish defense minister comes to every Repower in Sweden, and he doesn't use it for political capital. You might not find out in any media except for Repower's social media that Paul Jonsson was there. And he says in his last speech, when we give you weapon systems, we give them to you, and we want our feedback, but we don't tell you, we don't set limitations. Let me turn on the heat for you, Georgjis. You're a cold man.
No, it's fine, it's fine.
You can use those weapon systems as you see fit. And one thing that Sweden and Denmark have done, they didn't give their crap. Sweden gives Archer. You know, they're not giving their old systems. To this day, only one Archer has been decommissioned, but it was repairable and salvageable. And it's the most deadly artillery system in the entire war. It blows Caesar out of the water. This is a fact. But they're not giving their old barrels. They're not giving their tired Humvees or Abrams. And thank you, America. But Denmark and Sweden are at the forefront of giving their best they have.
Denmark literally gave every artillery piece, not just every single artillery, also the orders for the next artillery.
But it's like they're not using it.
Yeah,
they're not using it.
And this is like you're hitting the nail like on the head. My biggest problem is that a lot of Europe we're still talking and discussing that we're preparing for some kind of next war that is to happen, instead of just focusing and winning this one. And that's kind of like my main gripe that is right now. I think there's been like two problems. It's like that Europe didn't wake up and that we were focusing more on wrong things. And right, the waking up part is kind of there, but the second part, the focusing is still like we still can win. Like Ukraine is not lost. There is no need for negotiations. Putin doesn't really want negotiations. Let's fucking get the help, save Ukrainians, save Europe, save everyone, get him what he needs, get the Ukrainians what they need. Fuck the Russians, get them back to their caves.
This is the matter, and your politicians, and mine and Sweden by extent, say for Repower is one example. But I know when they go to the event, they do their speech about whatever, and it's important. But they chill out for an hour or two and they just have coffee. Like some of them are playing volleyball with our guys. There's no camera there. Like this is not like the Canadian Prime Minister now doing the election. Oh, I play ice hockey. You know, it's okay, Mr. Carney, and you don't play hockey. You know, but they're actually just being with them, and it's like, oh, you like this, oh, you're into cosplay, whatever. They're talking like that's what Ukrainian soldiers talk
Swedish
about.
Prime Minister into cosplay.
I don't know. I don't want to start a rumor there about Ulf, but
You heard it here first.
But they're just doing normal things with them, and the Danish politicians are doing this when they go there, and for this reason, Repower, for example, they get a venue. But when they go up north, 5-6 hours north to Högakusten, Sweden, beautiful program because the primary thing is to help them. But the corporations and the politicians are not coming 5-6 hours north.
Wait, there's something north of Stockholm?
Yeah. But it's a powerful piece of soft power where they're actually living, touching, eating with a Ukrainian that their policies affect. And I believed in this from day one. You're from Latvia. I've worked with the Estonians a lot. You've met a lot of Estonians. There's not enough of us. The Nordic countries have done. If Germany would dare. I recently I don't do much media anymore. I don't get asked much. I have turned down some media in recent times, only if I want to do it and I believe in it. But I did a speech in Stockholm, and I talked about how, and people get upset at me on the internet for it, and I don't really care, because when someone says to me in Australia in the comments, Russia is not winning, it's like, okay, it's my reality is a little bit different, and my friends, thank you for giving me money and support that I support, their reality is different. Russia is so smart in their information warfare. I mean, you told me things today that I don't even know about, but I take it to be true. They are miles ahead of us in information warfare.
Information warfare, absolutely.
They are miles ahead of us. And what I believe that the onus is on Kyiv. I don't know if we can count on America anymore. It's on Berlin, it's on Paris, it's on London, on all our capitals. We really have to choose what we want for our future. And I'm really scared to say this in a democracy. Who would ever vote for a government that's going to promise you a hard 10 years? And
Latvians did.
Latvians. I know quite a bit about the Estonian defense policy. I've dabbled with them. But as a whole, I mean, you could be a daddy in the near year or two or whatever.
Yeah,
you
hopefully.
would sacrifice for your child so they could have a better life.
My child can do it on its own. I was able to.
You just pop them out there.
Yeah, you just pop them out, and they're gonna figure it out.
This is how a bow works. This is how a knife. That's where you go for the deer.
No, it's like I'm just gonna throw him into, like, it's like have you seen what is the movie called 300?
300. Oh, okay. You're gonna. Here's the Persians. Go. No.
I was just gonna throw him to Persians. Yes.
But my question is, are we willing to sacrifice as Europe? And I don't count America in this anymore. I hope they'll come back and help us.
Yeah.
But are we willing to sacrifice as Europeans for a hard 10 years for a better 50 to 100 years?
I think you're not putting the question right. I think you
help me, because I'm not the best at it.
Because I think you're putting it like we're right now are living in the abnormal, and I think that's a wrong perspective to have. I think having the drive and strong protectionism, and like having like military, understand that the world is a dangerous place, that you need to defend your values, I see that as a normal. Like, because I was a big fan of the old Roman Republic, and I've read through some of the older documents there, so on. And there was like a time in Roman early history where they were like every spring, or was it autumn, their neighbors, the Etruscs, or sorry if I'm mispronouncing, if I'm misremembering it, they would come, burn their houses, kill their men, and take their women. Then the next spring,
the Etruscans.
Yes. Then the next spring, the Romans would go to Etruscans, burn their houses, take their women, and then kill their men. And then it would happen a couple of every year. So the point what I'm making is that we had an unprecedented peace dividend, insane peace dividend. The point is that this dividend is a bonus that we got because of how we looked at the time of conflict, that we learned from the time of conflict. What I think is that we need to take that now we're back to normal. We had a bit of an uphill where we got a lot of these peace dividend benefits. We got richer as a society, we had more advanced, more technology, and so on. So now we need to go back to the times when we need to stand up for ourselves, to potentially then at some point later on as a civilization, we're gonna get some kind of a peace benefit down the line. So I don't see that us focusing now or on our defense, like focusing on defense, maybe cutting social programs and so on, is supposedly us living worse. I think it's just us coming back and the peace dividend coming back to an end. So we're going back to normal.
So that this should run on this is a natural cycle.
I think
of
this is
societies?
just part of the natural cycle for us. I mean, like it's been better because the peace dividend has been unprecedentedly long for our countries, thanks to the European Union and NATO. But now we're in a different time, so now we need to work to the next period of peace.
I wonder about this because I'm more familiar with British defense policy. I was in the British Army, and there was some old boys who were in the army when I joined that were from the old army. They were rougher, they're tougher, they didn't finish school.
Yes.
The economy was bad, and despite the economy being bad, we had a Cold War, and we were able to field a 250, 300,000 man army.
Yes.
We had our forces in Germany, a Cold War that never happened.
Yes.
And now we talk about budget constraints, but we can't even get people to join the army.
Yes, and that's the thing that culture needs to change. We need to come back to the understanding that military is there for a reason. That military is not just some fancy job that only the select ones take to go from time to time to kill up some terrorist in an unknown Middle Eastern state, by the way, like which is a shitty thing to do anyway.
Yes.
But the point is that the military is first and foremost should be a respected and well understood profession. That this is your responsibility, every person's responsibility, to be honest, because we're now egalitarian societies where women and men are on equal terms, and I'm very much for the fact that we have, if not everyone go through the military service, then at least we have some kind of civil understanding that if their things go down, that you are the essentially resistance and part of the defense force. That is the types of societies that needs to kind of raise from these new problems. Military cannot be just one from selected and everyone else then just saying is like, well, I'm not the military, therefore I will not resist and so on. We're losing focus.
We're losing focus. I learned from being involved with the Swedes. They have a thing called the Hemvärnet, and see, when I joined the army as a boy, I wanted to feel more, I'm just being honest here, I wanted to feel more of a man. You know what I mean? I wanted to have a gun, I wanted to join the infantry, and they told us, yeah, logistics is shit, this is shit, you're in the infantry. And that's a lie that they tell boys at 18 years old, and I think I'm not sure if it's a necessary lie, but it works very well. And that attitude in NATO persists for guys who've never seen combat. And I have seen combat, and I've seen it here. But I was old enough coming here, not with any pretense. What I'm relating that to, anybody who can do good can do good. If you were a good volunteer, but you have to be a real volunteer, you know, like you have to give your all. It's supposed to hurt. It's supposed to have stress. If you're a good logistician, if you're good in electronics warfare, oh my God, this war is going to be won or lost on electronic warfare. In the NATO armies, what I seen, and I never seen this in Canada, I never seen this in the UK, there is, within the Hemvärnet, the Home Guard, there's a genuine sense of community first. It's before even they're put on their military uniform, they're there to serve their community. So it takes out the sense of self that we're badass, and I really like their ethos. In Estonia, they have their conscripts, they have a small professional army, they have the Defense League. The Defense League, do you know how many Estonians have an M240 Bravo or like an M4 rifle in their house? And they're not paid. They all went through their conscription, and they have to go through a police background check to join the Defense League, because they're carrying automatic weapons in their house. Estonians are very well armed. Russia, if you ever want to come to any of their houses, you'll find out. And they train 2 weekends a month, maybe even more, and if they have to go away for longer, for months, they get paid, but they do it for free. They do it for free. And here's another thing they do. They fundraise in their local communities, their chamber of commerce, so that unit can get more stuff. We're like, for example, one of the units I'm involved with, because I worked for the Estonian army and the Defense League, they fundraise for thermal scopes. Because the way they're forced to work, they've got, it doesn't matter where, anybody who crosses that line, good night. And they become very proficient with them. But they're doing that to serve community. And we never had this in Canada and America. And it was like the army first, but they're thinking about their home, because the battle will not be fought in Iraq, in Afghanistan. The battle will be fought in Estonia, it will be fought in Latvia, Lithuania,
Yes.
it will be fought in Poland. And this was a completely different mentality, maybe because I'm older now and I'm more, but I really chilled with these guys. It was, they were putting on uniform, they like it. Obviously you have to like it to do it for free, but they're doing it with their mothers, their fathers, their children first.
Yes.
And that's the total difference that I felt that I didn't understand, and many NATO guys who even come here to Kyiv to deliver something and still identify with that, and there's nothing wrong with that, but they don't fundamentally grasp the concept of defending home.
Yes.
So it comes back to Europe. You're talking that this is a cycle. This is a natural progression. Denmark is your home now, but Latvia is your home too.
Yeah, and if Russians will come into Latvia, I will instantly go back. It's not even a question.
You serve the you have to serve your community.
I
You have to serve your
my
home.
country for one. It's like, I'm not fit for service, but I'll need to do whatever I can.
You could lose a bit. You'll get there. Your arms are pretty. You've got a good base to work with. Tell me this now. You are no longer working in your former industry. You are now
Yes.
full-time working towards serving Ukraine.
Well, yeah.
More or less.
Mostly
More
I'm
or
serving,
less.
first and foremost serving Europe and Denmark,
Yes.
but for a benefit to Ukraine, for sure.
How long did it take you to make that leap? Like that did you,
Mentally or
however, it's an open question. How do you want to go with it?
mentally, I think it took me the longest.
You have a
because-
home and a wife to provide for first. That's a fact.
Yeah, like because that's the most important thing. Like I want to help Ukraine, but my wife is like that's like what I must care for first and foremost. It's like
Yes.
because like with this, I'm obviously taking a sort of risk, not a lot of risk comparatively, but there is like some risk that I do with the topic is being very sensitive. There is also the financial risk because YouTube can essentially, like this take is like, oh, military content, military is icky, therefore
Yes.
therefore you're demonetized. That can happen every day as well. Like so,
My channel, no factor.
I'm accepted.
All half my videos are in the yellow.
Yeah.
And God forbid the radio's playing in the background if I was getting shot at in Bakhmut, then it gets red.
Exactly. Yeah.
You've never had a red, I hope. Tell me this, because I've got to go to Novopost and I've got to post some EcoFlows and get some dog medicine. But there's, I don't know, we don't talk very often. I remember when you told me you were going to come here, and
Yes.
I'm a very pessimistic person, and I'm like, yeah, it's going to be hard. Everything you hope to accomplish is going to be hard as fuck, and you're going to throw your head up against the wall sometimes, but it's very doable.
Yeah, of course.
And now that you're here, I think it's even more doable.
Yeah, it's easy.
But it's going to be hard as fuck.
No, it's gonna be great.
Yeah, okay. But
It's
I
gonna
think
be
you, but
great.
I believe you're going to accomplish your goals.
I'm sure. It's like there is a lot of willing people, a lot of
I believe you're
places.
gonna
Like
accomplish
it's
your goals.
the reason is like the only difficulty is to find willing people. But there's a lot of will. There's a lot of goodwill, and then we just need to add some skill, and I have some good skilled people.
Mm-hmm.
So once I'm finally be able to openly talk about what I'm doing, I'm pretty sure you guys will appreciate it very, very much, and it's a really good thing.
And on a personal note, I got a random, I haven't talked to him in 6-8 months, and Mr. Jake Bro messages me 3 nights ago randomly, and we just get texting for like an hour, and he's telling me about Korea again. He really misses Korea. I think that was a very formative period of his time. And then he started talking about Magic of the Gathering. And do you play Magic? Are you
Not really, no.
Are you a nerd too?
Yeah, I am, but I'm not a big Magic player.
What are your nerd proclivities?
I play Arkham Horror board game, and Lord of the Rings board game, and Magic Knight board game, and Nemesis survival board game.
He's a nerd. Yeah, okay. Farthest thing I like Star Trek. That's about it. That's about it.
You should meet Rick.
He's a Star Trek man.
Yes.
Interesting. See, the thing is, I'd like to meet him someday, but like people say, "Are you in Kyiv?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm here for 2 days," and it's like, then I'm in Donbass,
Yeah, fair enough.
and soon I'm gonna not have any freedom. not any freedom at all. But do you want to know the irony of that? I'll have more free time.
True.
I'll have more free time sitting in my hole.
Yes.
All right, I might not see you again for God knows when.
Hopefully you will, but yeah.
I'm gonna, cause I'm actually liking. I used AI to make the last two thumbnails, and the click rate's going even lower. It's going to like 4% from like 8%, which I don't, But I should keep trying to make my crappy thumbnails because that's what people recognize. I'm gonna find like the worst Georgjis face, and I'm gonna make.
Please do.
I'm gonna make the most unflattering
Comment
thumbnail.
below if it's the worst or not.
Yeah, I enjoyed today.
Thank you.
Did you eat well?
It was good. I'm still waiting for the lollipop though.
Yeah, all right. Hold on here. Turn the camera off.